Welcome back. South African tourism will be shining the spotlight on its portfolio literally as part of Tourism Month celebrations. 10 South African heritage sites are being lit up this week to show what we've got. The Nelson Mandela Museum in Mthatha will be one of the sites that will get the light treatment. The museum, one of the crown jewels in our heritage, and it has recently been revamped. Let's take you there. Our reporter Nkululeko Nyembezi is at the museum. So Nkululeko, firstly, the lights are not happening tonight. That is now expected tomorrow. Tell us what's happening.
Yeah, according to the information that we got from the CEO of the Nelson Mandela Museum, is that the lights are not going to be switched on tonight, simply because the crew that was coming from flying from Johannesburg could not land in Mthatha Airport, so they had to divert their aircraft to East London. So it's going to take maybe some couple of hours to get here. So the lights will be switched on tomorrow, according to the information that we have. But of course, there are a lot of things happening here in this museum, because you remember that it is a museum that carries the life of that Nelson Mandela, the philanthropist, a freedom fighter, a man that is recognized as a world leader in the world. But we will be talking to Dr. Boy, who's going to be detailing some of the information that you can get here in this museum. Doctor, for sure, first of all, you must be very excited that now that your museum has been listed as among the top tourism destinations, if I put it that way.
Well, we are very much, excited about that, especially that announcement that has been made. And it's a privilege for this museum, and not only for this museum, but for the people of Eastern Cape and the Nelson Mandela family in particular. When we talk about, it's not an issue of the museum, it's about the legacy. It's about the heritage, it's about the history. It's about a particular character, personality of Nelson Mandela that has been chosen more than it is really a museum. Now we are trying to show the world, what the Nelson Mandela Museum is all about and what it actually carries in terms of Nelson Mandela's legacy. So we really appreciate it. It's a privilege for us. Thank you.
Maybe someone outside there is just willing to know exactly what is it that you can get when you come in this museum. What is it that you can be guaranteed that you will get from this museum, for those who have not come here for some time maybe?
Well, for anyone who comes, there's a lot that you can get when you get into our museum. One of those things that you get here, you come to see, a priceless collection, of Nelson Mandela's gifts. Nelson Mandela's, call it a collection. Gifts that were given to him, by all the presidents of the world, peoples of the world, kings of the world, politicians, statesmen, and even the gifts that were given to him by the queen, who just recently passed on. So that's exactly what you get here. You also get, beautiful gifts that were given to him by the, African national liberation movements, and the African leaders. So that is the kind of gifts that you get here, You could refer to them as nothing else but gifts that were given to Nelson Mandela as an honor and a tribute for all the sacrifices that he actually went through on behalf of the people of South Africa.
Let's talk about local economic development. What is it that you're doing to make sure that at least maybe businesses around here benefit from what Mandela did for the country? In fact, looking at the museums, what benefit do you have here to the community?
Well, you know what, the benefit that we have here, perhaps let us talk about the programs that we are doing, and those programs which are also targeting, the emerging entrepreneurs, in particular women, and youth. For instance, that we would have programs, like, women's dialogue that are organized by women themselves, talking about their own issues. And there's a lot of economic spin-offs, because the women, they would come and they would put up their stuff that they sell out to the public. And even here within the museum, we are having a craft shop, by people of Eastern Cape, they are selling such craft, to the tourists and also to the local people. And whatever we have that is in terms of development or local economic development, people of this area, they become our first preference. You talk about performing arts. When we are having tourists that are coming from overseas, we call upon the local, cultural groups to come and entertain them. We are calling upon, the local women who are busy with the craft, beadwork, sewing, to come and sell their products here. So there is a lot of contribution that we are doing towards the local economic development. So it is not just a museum, using the Eurocentric sense of it, or interpretation of what museum is supposed to be. But we are trying to Africanize this museum so that it becomes a museum that is so responsive, to the pressing economic challenges of our own people. So it is not just a museum that you can get in Cape Town, that you can get in Pretoria. It is such a unique museum that is responsive to the needs of our people right from the ground.
Thank you very much, Dirk, for your time. Of course, I think that this is not just a museum, but it's a unique museum that you cannot just get anywhere in the world. Let's go back to studio.
All right, thank you very much, reporter Nkululeko Nyembezi. The museum will be lit up tomorrow. We'll be speaking to South African Tourism about this initiative to light up some of our bright lights in terms of tourism, as it were.